Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. 1905 has been a very action-packed year so far, and last time we thoroughly kicked in the teeth of the US Atlantic Fleet, and in the process we discovered that most of their navy is indeed quite outdated. They were fielding designs from as early as 1891, and our Fleet of Oceans battleship pretty much wiped the floor in that previous naval engagement. And my theory that America had not really done any scrapping in recent years was very much confirmed. Today we're opening up with another fleet battle, and this time it is one of our newer battleships, the Invincible class, the Baby Dreadnoughts, versus a smaller fleet which only has one US battleship, well actually no, technically one Mexican battleship, and a bunch of US cruisers and destroyers. Now this battleship also seems to be fairly old. It's a pre-Dreadnought design with 4 12-inch guns versus our 10-inch Baby Dreadnought. And we also have one of the Firm class battleships, which were one of the first ones we ever built in Spain, and we actually never fielded any in the fleet ourselves. These were purely for export. So we're going to hop into this fight and see what the Invincible can do against one battleship and 4 heavy cruisers. We're going to let her do most of the work. Alright, and here we are. Our fleet is forming up into its battle position. We're going to put the pre-Dreadnought behind the Invincible, the lead of her class. Look at that. She's actually a very pretty looking 10-inch Baby Dreadnought. I'm really happy with that design. She looks utterly gorgeous, and hopefully she does herself justice today. Now we've also got the Infanta Maria Teresa, who is the lead of her own class as well, of armoured cruisers. We're going to put her behind the Firm class battleship, and oh dear, I think they're going to hit each other. Absolutely nothing happened. There certainly wasn't a mid-ocean collision between a 17,000-ton battleship and a 5,500-ton armoured cruiser. We certainly wouldn't be that unprofessional in the Spanish Navy. Now, we also have a bunch of outdated torpedo boats as well, so I'm going to use those essentially as a bit of a YOLO screen, per se. So I'm going to have them screening the battleship, and once we encounter the main fleet, once we find their capital ship, we're actually going to see if we can send the torpedoes in to draw a bit of fire, maybe get a cheeky torpedo off whilst Invincible closes in the range. Oh, and it looks like the Invincible has spotted the first of the enemy ships. And here we go. Invincible has opened up with her 10-inch guns on the lead elements of the Mexican US fleet. And it looks like we've got one of their heavy cruisers here. Or armoured cruisers. I keep calling them heavy cruisers. I really shouldn't. They are just straight up armoured cruisers. So we got 2 there. Gee, that might be a... No, that's definitely an armoured cruiser. That isn't a battleship hull. They're actually turning away from our fleet. So we are going to turn ours to engage and close in the range a bit. Oh my goodness. A nice long range hit from the Invincible. Looks like it was a rear hit that has caused a significant amount of flooding on one of the armoured cruisers. Okay, we're going to send in a couple of these torpedo boats to do a cheeky torpedo run, see if we can hit that heavy cruiser, although she might sink on her own. Oh, look at all those 10-inch guns firing. They might not be the biggest guns in the fleet, but they are quite accurate for this era. Oh, and have we just spotted the American battleship in the rear? Yes, I believe that is their battleship. Well, technically the Mexican battleship. Yes, it is. Mexican flags. And those look like 12.2-inch guns. Oh, and they're opening up on the little torpedo boats. I don't think they are going to get their range in, though, before we close. And the Invincible's providing some amazing long-range covering fire. And the Des Moines is slowly sinking. I believe that hit from the Invincible was, in fact, a fatal hit. Alright, got to try and jinx these guys through a bit. The Des Moines is going to go down. So we're going to disable torpedoes. Hopefully they didn't fire before we got within range. Okay, the Des Moines is sinking. She is sunk. She's going in. We're going to try and run a torpedo run on the battleship if we can, but we just took a nasty hit on that torpedo boat. Please drop your torpedoes in the water. Fishes are away. Fishes are away. Okay, second torpedo boat. Oh, that torpedo looks good, but is the battleship going to outturn it? Yes, it is. Damn. That's okay. We can get another torpedo out. We can get another one out. Fire, 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 fire. Yes. Fishies are good. Oh no, we've lost one of the torpedo boats. It's okay though. We're keeping that battleship scared. Ah, it's avoided both of them. What a shame. Oh, we've got a single destroyer here. We're going to see if we can get some torpedoes out on those heavy cruisers. It is a bit of a risk though, because it's just the one torpedo. Or has it got two? It's got two. Yeah, it's got two launchers, but they're only singles. We're just going to try and keep it moving so that we're not suffering the accuracy. Well, so that the enemy isn't getting the accuracy bonus. I'm going to cut across if we can before they start pummeling us too hard. Okay, torpedo is in the water. That's going to force the cruiser to turn. The cruiser's fired a torpedo as well, but we are gonna miss that, and we should hopefully get another torpedo out, unless it was just the one launcher that we had after all. Oh, the other one's been hit, I think. Oh no. Oh, I think we've just wasted a destroyer. Oh no. Oh yeah, that destroyer is dead. Oh, the HOTAS. I'm so sorry. Alright, we're going to bring these torpedo boats back over here for the time being. I think we should have gone with the original plan, which was let the battleship deal with everything. So we're going to sail her in. Oh, what on earth hit you? 10-inch gun. Really? Invincible, did you just take that out in a single hit? You did. You weren't even aiming for her, though. Or were you? Wow, that was a huge hit. Oh, wow, look at the look at the impact mark. That was definitely more than a 10-inch shell, but let's not worry about that. Wow, okay, yep, Invincible is dealing some heavy damage. Oh, we got a lucky hit on what appears to be a torpedo boat in the smoke, but we do need to start turning away from that. Unless they are going to go in. Yep, they're going to sink. Okay, we will not turn too evasively. Actually, no, I changed my mind. We are going to turn evasively because that is a destroyer. Potentially two destroyers. Oh, that was a destroyer. Oh my god. Invincible. My god. I'm sorry. The Leonard F. Mason got utterly clapped. Oh ho ho ho. Oh, that wasn't even... I don't think Invincible did that. I think the Infanta Maria Teresa did that. Yeah, she's done 13,000. Wow. Okay, good on ya. Oh, they're just completely butchering these torpedo boats and destroyers. Alright, we're switching fire now. The Invincible's going to target the Mexican battleship Francis. See how long it takes for her to find the range. And whilst Invincible's keeping her distracted, we're going to send these torpedo boats in. Okay, these torpedo boats have all been detached. They're all independent. So we're going to try and get the Francis between two different torpedo boat fires if we can. Oh, an overpen with flooding on the stern of the Francis. It's actually causing a moderate amount. Oh, and we've damaged their steering equipment. It's going to make it even easier to get some torp runs on her. She is now just getting chased down by these torpedo boats. Oh, that is not a fun situation to be in if you're a battleship captain. Being fired upon by long-range, high-velocity 10-inch shells and then having torpedo boats bearing down on you like a swarm of angry hornets. Well, looks like she's turning to meet the challenges head-on. I don't think that's going to be a very smart idea because the Candido Perez has launched a torpedo and the torpedo looks very good. Oh, and a direct hit amidships. And more torpedoes are in the water. And we got another hit. The third one is going to miss, but I think that second torpedo might be fatal. Oh dear. The Francis is in a bad way. And it is all over. The Francis is going down. The torpedo boats did an excellent job there. And Invincible did herself quite proud as well. Alright, who did the most damage? That was a good victory. We sank a battleship, 2 heavy cruisers, 3 of their destroyers for the loss of a torpedo boat and a single destroyer. So the Invincible did the most damage just, followed very closely by the Infanta Maria Teresa. Fantastic. And the torpedo boats did a brilliant job at taking down the Francis at the end there. There we go. Nice, easy win for the Spanish fleet. Tell you what though, as fast as we are sinking them, the Americans are building them. They've still got an active fleet of 92 ships, 9 battleships, 17 heavy cruisers. I know for a fact 2 of those battleships are brand new because they just commissioned them, and they are building 38. So I think as we are working our way through the outdated American fleet, they've got some far more modern toys getting into the water, so future battles could be a bit more interesting. And there was something that I picked up on from a earlier part of the video where I was building the Cristobal Colon class, we're in the mid-1900s and it was still stuck on basic steam engine tech, and I hadn't noticed that at the time. So we're going to go in and quickly refit what is meant to be our newest class of armored cruiser to actually have some semi-decent engine capabilities, and that might free up some additional weight for improved armament or armor. So yeah, going to multiple expansion engines has dropped us down to 95% or 8,588 tons, which means I think we could possibly get away with slightly better armor protection. So we've upgraded our main belt to 6.5 inches, and we've gone 4 inches on the fore and aft, which is hopefully going to make the Cristobal Colons a little bit more tanky. No, we've only got 2 Cristobal Colons. Okay, fair enough. And they are both... Oh, that's right, yeah, they're both at port in Barcelona because they're part of the new fleet that we're currently building. Alright, that's fine. So we can refit them before they even get out to sea and into combat. That is good. Alright, we'll do the refit for those 2. Now that we have some money, because we're at war, we can finally up the tech budget again, because we had to drop it down quite considerably. So I think we're going to up the tech budget to around 80, and that'll free up some money as well to bump crew training up to about 90%. We'll leave transport capacity as it is for the time being, because we're not losing any transports, and we're at 197% anyway, so that's not a huge issue right now. But getting faster research is definitely a priority. Alright, and we've got ourselves a quick little cruiser duel. So we've got the Infanta Maria Teresa versus the New Haven. So we've got 4 9.2-inch guns. They've got 2 6.1 inches and a heap of 3.1s. So our plan is to keep the range and hit them from afar. Enemy spotted to the southwest. Okay, let's go. Okay, and we have found the New Haven. They are already opening fire upon us, and they've popped their smoke. We're going to turn away because they're probably going to try and get within torpedo range. And we want to maintain the range. Okay, their smoke screen has lifted and we can now engage. And we have already found the range, which is good. So hopefully our accuracy will begin to creep up. And we can start landing some hits. That's actually quite a nice looking design on the New Haven. So she's got a lot of 3.1 inches in casemates, and it looks like she also has 3.1 inches mounted in these little turrets at top. And we've got the 6-inch guns mounted fore and aft. Oh, there we go, that was a hit. Not a huge amount of flooding, but it is just inside the critical area where a lot of their machine components are. So maybe if we land another hit there, we might be able to cripple her drive. Oh, and yep, popping smoke, but I believe we're close enough now that that isn't really going to make a huge difference. Oh, we're starting to get some good hits. 2 floodings. I believe that was our secondaries that was doing that. Yeah, the reason why I'm doing a lot of cuts is these cruiser duels can often take a very long time. Ooh, that was a lot of flooding. Is that going to be enough to kill it? No, they've got decent amount of bulkheads. But yes, as I was saying, these cruiser duels in the early years can take a very, very long time. These guys have already been fighting for 30 in-game minutes so far, so yes, laying into each other essentially the steam and steel equivalent of being yard arm to yard arm, even though they're still, you know, a couple of kilometers away from each other. But this is a very close range engagement. I'm just keeping them outside of torpedo range, and I think that hit there might be enough to finish the New Haven off. Now, it does say we can end the battle, but I want to sink her. I don't want her to be able to get back to port. We're fighting this out to the end. And that is the end of her. Nice little one-on-one duel for the Infanta Maria Teresa, the first of her class, and the best of her class. Oh, the Nationalist Party have won again and retained control of the government. No surprise, considering we're doing so well in the war against the United States at the moment. We are doing remarkably well, and Chile has just cancelled an alliance with them. So we're currently 47,000 victory points versus 14,900. But there is no way we are going to be able to blockade them, I don't think, because they've got 300,000 tons more or less in the water, and we have just over 300,000. So there's no way we're going to be able to successfully blockade them. And oh dear, there is a risk that we're going to be going to war with France and Austro-Hungary soon if we're not careful. Austria-Hungary has a fleet of 100 ships. Oh, okay, 41 torpedo boats. Okay, so that's not too bad. What's France up to nowadays? Oh, France, what the hell? I really hope that the majority of those are pre-dreadnoughts, otherwise... Oh boy. Yeah, that gonna be fun. We need to keep an eye on France. Alright, the fleet at Barcelona has finished repairing, including the fleet of oceans, and Barcelona has now got far too much tonnage in it, so we are going to redeploy the fleet of oceans once again to the American station. So we're going to send the fleet of oceans and our 2 pre-dreadnoughts, which I believe are the 2 Pembroke classes. And do we have any of the Cristobal Colons? Yes, so we're going to send those 2. The Cristobal Colon and the San Ambrosio. The Aragon of the Purification class, I think we're actually going to keep that in port and scrap it. That'll be one of the older armored cruisers that we're going to get rid of now. And we've got the modern Extremadura class light cruisers that we're going to send out. So we've got 4 Extremaduras, the Cristobal Colons, the Pembrokes, and the Fleet of Oceans. And we also have the new Guantanamo class destroyers and a single older Duero class. So we're going to send all the destroyers out as well. The ships that we're leaving in Barcelona might just get scrapped to free up some extra money and some extra tonnage for our fleet. Unfortunately, our attempt at taking over the Dominican Republic has failed, even though we were looking to do really well. So apparently the army let down the side. The navy was doing a perfectly fine job, but the soldiers let us down. So we're going to redeploy this fleet, which I believe has the other Fleet of Oceans class battleship. Yes, and a bunch of cruisers and destroyers. We're going to move that into the Central Caribbean. Okay, interesting development. We have unlocked Mark II torpedo tubes, and we have also doubled the range of our torpedoes as well. So it is time to refit our destroyer units, beginning with the older 1896 Duero class. So this is a fairly old and smaller destroyer that Fleet of Oceans built, 850 tons, crew complement of 97. She's got 4 5-inch guns, and 2 single-deck torpedoes, and mines, with a top speed of 31 knots. So let's see how we can improve her. First of all, we'll upgrade the armor to get us a little bit more tonnage, if only a tiny bit. Now, these torpedoes should automatically have updated to the 3-kilometer range, yes, for the Mark IIs. Now, I think we can probably get away with replacing this middle torpedo tube with a twin launcher, and still be within our weight. Yes. So we've increased our torpedo capacity by 1/3. We've doubled the range. We've added a bit more potency to the armor belt, which I believe is only a 1-inch belt. Yes. Now, is it worth adding a rangefinder on these guys? I honestly don't think it is. I think they're more... I mean, will it make much of an odds? So 12%, 3.4%, and 1% range. If we go to a stereoscopic, 12, 3.4, 1%, 05, or a coincidence, 13%. No, it's honestly, it isn't worth the penalty to cost and weight. Now, what we might do to slightly improve survivability, so double hull increases the resistance, negative 20% torpedo flooding chance. But if we go to that, no, I think the double bottom might be better than the bulkheads, and the anti-flood will help them become a little bit more survivable. I think that's pretty good. Although if we also upgrade to a multiple expansion engine, or if we go all the way up to the multiple expansion steam engine 2, it will increase their costs, but we're not going to be building any more of these anyway, so we're just straight up refitting them with better engines. That frees up a little bit more weight yet again, where we might be able to get an extra knot out of her. Yeah, so we can take them up to 32 knots, which might not be a bad idea. Or we leave it at 31 knots and maybe increase the belt to 1.5 inches across the board. Or maybe even 2 inches, or 2.5 inches on the main belt. Okay, that's the highest we can go is 1.5. Okay, so we're able to max out the armor. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And we'll upgrade them to 17-inch torpedo tubes. How about that? So that increases their lethality, same speed, better armor, better engines, better protection. I think that is a brilliant little refit for the Duero class. And now we need to refit the Guantanamos. Now these guys have a 34 knot top speed. And they already have twin torpedo tube launchers. They do have a smaller gun armament though, so we could look and see if we can make any weight savings here. Probably not though. I think the biggest update on this refit is going to be the range, because these were already 17 inches on the torpedoes anyway. It already has... You see, I'm thinking if we get rid of the bulkheads and go to double hull, I think that's going to actually make it more survivable. And maybe if we take the speed down by a knot, see if we go from 34 to 33 knots, that saves us nearly 100 tons in machinery, which means we can up the belt to the maximum across the board. We won't honestly really worry about the rangefinders. We'll give it a mine layer, give it mine sweeping gear. Now what's the difference in weight? So 7 tons... It might be worth seeing if we can actually upgrade the guns to 5 inches. Make this a bit of a major refit for the Guantanamo class. Yeah, you see, we can upgrade her to 5-inch guns and she's still within her weight limits. Aft weight is a little bit high. I wonder if we move that forward a little bit, if that helps. Okay, it helps a little bit. Honestly, that's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Oh, and we can upgrade the bursting charge to TNT. That saves us... Does that save us weight? It does. It saves us weight and it makes it a lot safer. Perfect. Okay, I'm happy with that refit on the Guantanamo class. Now, with that in mind, do we have enough spare tonnage to refit whatever we have in port? I think we do. So we will refit the old Duero classes first, because there's only 3 in port. Are there more at sea? Yes, there's quite a few at sea. That's fine. We can refit those as they come into port. And we've got a fair number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 in port of the Guantanamo classes as well. Okay, so they're all refitting. Fantastic. Oh no, this could be a bit of a sticky situation. The battleship Invincible and the Infanta Maria Teresa have been ambushed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 8 US destroyers. Now what do these have? Are these all the same class? Yes, they are all the John Pierce class. So they've got 3 4.6-inch guns, 4 1.9-inch guns, and 2 single torpedo tubes. Now, I believe they've only got a fairly limited range. I'm not going to auto-resolve that, because that would result in the death of the battleship, because that's just how the auto-resolve mechanics seem to work. However, I'm also not dumb enough to take on an entire torpedo flotilla without a stream. So, as someone once wisely said, we must fight to run away. Or in this case, we're just straight up running away. Now, the destroyers are to the south. Oh, having the lead ship of her class in the middle of a destroyer ambush is not ideal. I really hope we don't lose the Invincible here, because that would be quite the astonishing embarrassment for the Spanish fleet. And, oh, yep, here they come. I think they're going to overhaul us at this rate. We're going to split up the fleet, and we're going to see if we can divide the destroyer force so that, hopefully, the Invincible can make an escape. We'll get the Infanta Maria to kite a little bit, and to weave, and to lead out the distance between herself and the battleship. We aren't going to sacrifice her to the destroyers, but we're just going to keep the destroyers busy whilst the battleship makes her run. And oh wow, okay, yep, that's the rest of the destroyer's screen there, I'm guessing. What do these destroyers look like? Oh, they've got decent funnel. They might have fairly good engine efficiency and speed. Oh, they are low on fuel. Oh, excellent. Okay, we might be able to make the escape. Alright, we were able to get away finally. So that's not too bad. That could have been a very sticky situation if the destroyers were able to close the range. But the Invincible was able to convince them that getting up close and personal with the 12 10-inch guns probably wasn't good for their health. Oh, and there you go. That's what happens when you press the auto-resolve button. I did it once because I just wanted to get through and get some technology unlocked because it's September 1906. And of course, 4-3 advantage. We get heavy damage on one cruiser, medium damage on another, and 2 is sunk. The Concordia and the General Linears. Oh, these are the old Villa de Madrid class, though, so... And they were up against 6.1-inch cruisers. Yeah, we had much less armor than they did. So, yeah, we've lost some of the older cruisers, but no great loss. Probably means we can build some more of our new ones, because we have the extra Madura class. In fact, that is exactly what we're going to do. Yeah, we're going to have a couple built to go to Santiago de Cuba. Oh, well, this feels like a bit of a one-sided meeting. The Alejandro I with a bunch of cruisers versus 3 US armored cruisers. I don't know why that means Clash of the Fleets, because that doesn't feel very Clash of the Fleety to me. Now, she's the other Fleet of Oceans class, so this should be a pretty easy cakewalk. Well, never mind, they ended up running away, so there we go. Nothing to see here. Oh, and we've got another ambush. Let's see if we can run away from this one as well as we did from the other one. Oh, this is not going well at all. I think our 2 destroyers are getting away, but I believe the cruiser has just been run down. Yes, they appear to be opening fire. I think there's something like 8 destroyers in here with us. And they are lighting... Oh, no. Oh, is that a torpedo in the water already? It is, but we fired one as well. Is that torpedo going to hit? No, it's going to miss. Are they going for the ram? Oh, they are. Alright, let's see if we can pull to... Oh, no! Oh, that was a point-blank range torpedo hit. Let's see if we can get one out on him as well. Go on. Get your fishies in the water. Get your fishies in the water. There you go. Oh, no. I think that other torpedo was a dud. And Prosperidad made it out by the skin of her teeth. I don't know how he survived that. 8 destroyers versus our light cruiser and 2 destroyers. It almost feels like the American fleet has switched tactics. Instead of going for big fleet actions, they're going for guerrilla warfare now, because they've got a lot of small task forces out there. 3 destroyers, 3 torpedo boats. 1 battleship, 2 cruisers, 3 cruisers. Oh, that's a fairly decent sized fleet. And it looks like they're reinforcing all of South America. Oh my goodness. Oh my, have they just sent their entire fleet out? How many? Oh, they have 118 ships in their fleet, and they are building more. And we only have 60, and we are building 10. We need to seriously start building some more, but we are currently running at a deficit because of our research. We might need to slow that research down soon. Oh no, not another one. Oh, we're getting nothing but destroyer ambushes, and it's the Invincible again. Can we withdraw? Oh no, we can't. The enemy fleet has been spotted to the south, which means... Oh my... You right there, Bouncy? Don't do that. We need to run away. 1 battleship with only 2-inch secondaries versus destroy... Oh, they're right here. Oh no. Invincible, just run. Run. This is... Where's the rest of the fleet that I sent out with you? Why are you on your own? Did your captain get drunk and just sail off into the sunset drinking pina coladas? And here they come. I'm just going to pray to the Sea Lords that we get some lucky hits on these destroyers. Actually, what are they running? Single deck guns, twin torpedo tubes on the rear. So these are slightly modern destroyers. They've got twin torpedo... Oh. I turn around for one moment and the Invincible blaps it with a main caliber hit. Well, hopefully that dissuades them. Wow. 10,000 damage with 1 single 10-inch hit. At the very least, we've taken down one of them. Yeah, these appear to be slightly more modern designs, so I believe we've started seeing America's more modern fleet. As I mentioned earlier on, I think we destroyed a lot of their older stuff in the big engagement with the Fleet of Oceans. In fact, that could have been our modern fleet against what I would term as their reserve fleet, and now we're starting to see slightly more modern stuff. Because that's not a bad looking little destroyer, honestly. They've got a good mix of medium and small caliber guns, and they've got 2 torpedo tubes on the rear with a range... Oh, they've only got a range of 1 kilometer though, which is good. So we're relatively safe if we keep the distance. Although they are beginning to close that distance, so we're going to turn the Invincible away a bit. I'm going to pray for another lucky main gun hit. We have them ranged in. Oh, we got an overpen and flooding hit with the secondaries. They're just peppering us with their secondary guns now. We are slowly getting within torpedo range, so we need to turn right away from them and not give them the opportunity. Oh, we've severely damaged that one now with our secondary guns. We've taken out their bridge. They've got heavy flooding and they have engine damage. And we're just staying outside of torpedo range. Okay, I believe they are pulling that destroyer out. The Sloat is still in the fight, with a maximum rated speed of 33.5 knots versus R19, which is not ideal at all. We're going to focus on the Sloat now. Oh, I think they're getting ready to make a torpedo run on us. Please, Invincible. Please, please hit it. Please hit it. Oh boy. Alright, we need to start making a really hard turn. Any moment now those torpedoes are going to be in the water. Right, we're going to... Oh, yeah, here they come. Oh no, we need to turn hard. Hard, 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 hard. Come on, come on. Oh, yes, okay, right. Run away, run away, run away. Oh, and we have hit the Sloat hard. They took their gamble and they lost. Right, we need to just get away from the Timmermen because they have somewhat recovered from this shrewd blow that we gave them. Oh, Invincible, overpenned. With 8G rounds of all things. God, at this point I wish I'd outfitted her with a couple of torpedo tubes now, because they would have been really handy. Okay, looks like the Timmerman is going down thanks to lots of secondary hits. Oh, maybe she's floating at 4%, 6%, 4%, 6%. Nope, she's gone. And the enemy is in the north. The rest of the destroyers are now bearing down on us, and we need to just try and open up the range as much as we can. Yep, here they come. Now, are these of the same class? Yep, they all appear to be the same class of destroyer. Yeah, a mix of medium and small guns, and 2 tubes at the rear with a 1 kilometer range. Okay, this is useful because if we keep them in a stern chase, they can't use their torpedo tubes. They need to range alongside, which buys us plenty of time for those secondary guns. I'm glad I put some 2-inch guns on this, because without those little 2-inch guns peppering the destroyers, we'd be in a lot of trouble right now. Look at them, fools. Oh, look at that. That was another beautiful long-range hit with the 10-inch guns of Invincible. Well, this is a dramatic reversal of fortune as to what I was expecting. And another hit with the main guns on the Dale. Oh, the Dale is gone as well. We're going to get another main gun hit on the... Is it the Gatling? I can't tell from here. The Gatling, yes. They've only got 2 destroyers left. And the Invincible has got the range, and this is excellent gunnery practice for her gun crews. Okay, we're going to turn away because they're starting to range alongside us, which means soon we'll be entering the dangerous territory of torpedo runs. Oh, and another main hit, but that was only a little over. It was an overpen. We're just going to switch straight to HE. There's no point using AP because we're just going to overpen. And oh my word, another hit on the Gatling. I think she's falling out of line. Yep, she's no longer the lead of their little flotilla. And it looks like they're retreating, potentially. It's giving me the option to end the battle, which makes me think that the AI is giving up. We'll see if we can get some nasty hits on the gearing as well whilst we're here. Because I would end battle, but I think it's a little bit cheesy to be ending battle at this like close range, because clearly the battle isn't over. Or we've hit their engine. Are they going to be able to catch up in time to get torps out? No, they're not. Not with that hit that we just delivered. Oh. Oof. The Invincible is living up to her name today. Shredding the torpedo... Oh, not torpedo boat, the destroyer flotilla. And I don't think the Gatling is going to be able to give chase. So I think we can end the battle there. Steaming away victorious. They sent 7 destroyers against the battleship, and we sunk 6 of them. Now that was a brilliant demonstration of the importance of secondary and tertiary guns, because I think half of those sinkings were from the secondaries just peppering them, although we did get some brilliant 10-inch hits with the Invincible. Now I believe she is currently at sea. Is the Invincible at sea? I think she's in one of these squadrons. Fleet of Oceans. Oh no, I think she's in Santiago de Cuba, isn't she? Okay, yep, so she's safe. She's repairing. Okay, and I believe the first of our Dreadnoughts has finished commissioning. Yes. Oh, and she's commissioned ever so slightly overweight, but not too many debuffs on her. So we've got the Battleship España and the baby Dreadnought Santissima Trinidad next to her, also overweight. What is it with our shipyards building things overweight? At least the battleships. And even some of our cruisers as well. Okay, we in port with them. We've got an old Purificación class ship. I believe we are building some of the new Cristobal colons for this port. When are they going to be ready? Okay, so we've got a couple building for Santiago de Cuba. And there are 2 building at Cadiz, which will be ready in 4 months. And the other Dreadnought will be completing in Coronia in 1 month. Now, with that in mind, we can probably get away with building another battleship now. We have just enough spare tonnage for it. So we're going to build... I did say that she was going to be a 2 class, but historically I believe the Hispanias... There were 3 of the Hispania class, so we're going to build 3 as well. And we are going to build her in Barcelona as well. And crikey, the Invincible is having a busy year. We're in December 1906 now, and she's got another fight. Herself and a Duero-class destroyer called Duero, owned by Venezuela, against 2 heavy cruisers and a light cruiser of the US Navy. Now, I believe these are some of their older cruisers. They are, although I think the light cruiser is a newer design, potentially. We'll have a look. And she has found the enemy fleet already. Now, what do we got here? These are indeed older armored cruisers. Look at the shortness on those barrels. Those things are... They're essentially floating mortars. I think she's going to make short work of them. And the light cruiser is... Okay, it's one of those weird ones with the 3 turrets out front. And, the other armored cruiser does have slightly better looking guns. So they've got 3 different ships here. None of them look particularly good. These could be the remnants of the reserve fleet that we've been dealing with. It looks like she's got the enemy fleet ranged in. So it's just a case of fine-tuning her fire. Oh, and there we go. First decent hit of the engagement. A forward hit on the, what I'm going to call the mortar cruiser, the Cambridge. Oh, and that was a serious hit. Yep, flooding in 2 different compartments. We've hit her engine. That could be a fatal amount of flooding. Oh, and that is definitely a fatal amount of flooding. Oh boy, Cambridge is going down. Invincible ate and left no crumbs. And I believe she just overpenned the Norfolk amidships. That is deeply impressive. And wow, I don't even want to know what she just hit, but she hit... Oh, look at the shell hole. That wasn't a 10-inch shell. That's like a phase-shifting weapon from the Warhammer 40k universe. The machine spirit lives within the Invincible, and the little Duero is just in the rear, watching on in awe, struggling to stay in the wake of the Invincible's violent rampage, as she also sets fire to the Youngstown. My word. And that looked like a potentially fatal hit on the light cruiser. She's taken a lot of water. I think she is going to sink from that. Yep, she's definitely going to sink. Oh, no, she's not. They've got it under control. They've sealed bulkheads, closed doors. They all died horribly in a violent explosion. Never mind. Whew, I am really happy with the Invincible class. She has been living up to her name. Alright, and following that string of stunning victories against the US fleet, we are entering the final years of my tenure as first T-Lord of the Spanish Navy. It is January 1907. What I really want to do now is start building the flagship, the ship made in my own image, but I have something planned, and I'm waiting for a very specific bit of research to be completed before I build my baby. But what we are going to quickly do is look at some refits once again, because some of the ships in our fleet are, well, quite old. Very old. And some of them are actually at sea. A bunch of them are at sea. The Purificación class are all at sea. So I'm thinking we might actually... So they're in the Caribbean. So they must be in this fleet? With the Fleet of Ocean class Alejandro? Yeah, okay. So I might actually pull this fleet back. We'll send them to Bilbao, and we're actually going to complete a fairly extensive refit program once they're back in port. But for the time being, we can at least do a 4th refit of the Purification class. In fact, we might even... is it worth refitting them? Is it worth refitting them? That is the question. I think it might be worth refitting them just so that we've got some... What's the year? 1907? They're almost a 20-year-old design, but also we are running out of money. Well, we're not running out of money yet, but we will be soon. So maybe actually we'll take that fleet back and we'll just straight up scrap the Purification class. What's the next class after that? The Infanta Maria Teresa, which had a refit in 1893. That's actually a fairly good design. Like, they've done really well. So I think this is justification to refit them once more. Okay, so what do we have? Speed of 22 knots. Their weight is down to 91%. We've got crip armor already. Double hull bottom. We'll take the capped AP shells. Now, in terms of guns, they've got 9.2 inches, which are Mark IIIs now. We've increased the gun caliber in terms of length to give them a little bit more accuracy. We can change it to TNT. Is balisite? I'd honestly... Yeah, I think we're going to stick with white powder. So we've got a further accuracy boost from that. We still only have Citadel 1. Now the question is, do we up their speed or do we up their armor? Because we have 92% weight to play with. Why don't we try both? Okay, so upping the speed to 24 knots does horrible things to the weight. In fact, even going up to 23 knots. Okay, so we're just going to up armor them. Make them a bit more tanky. 7-inch main belt. Try a 3.5 fore, maybe a 4-inch fore and aft. And we'll up the deck armor to 1 inch for fore and aft. We'll up the Citadel armor to the maximum. Yeah, I think that'll help them a little bit. It isn't like the world's biggest refit, but it's a little improvement. Oh, actually, can we get better funnels? That will put us overweight. Only by a little bit, though. So if we take the main belt back a little bit at 6.7 inches, so we've got slightly better engine efficiency now as well. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, we'll save that refit. Now, the other thing I think need to refit now is the Pembroke class pre-Dreadnought. They've done pretty well so far in battle, so I think they're worth keeping around for the medium term, whilst we're still building more of the newer Invincible and future classes. I think they're worth keeping in the water for the time being. So we are going to refit the Pembrokes. Alright, so first of all, upgrading the engine and the armor drops us down to just under 13,500 tons, which is good. Which means we can up the barbette protection, go to a double hull, and do anti-flood and reinforced bulkhead. So that makes her a lot tankier. Go for TNT, we'll leave it a white powder. Nose fuse will go to soft cat. And we'll leave the armor-piercing shells at standard, methinks. Now, how many torpedo launchers do these have? We're also going to give her a fore and aft torpedo launcher, just to be extra safe. Because there have been instances where they've gotten into close torpedo range, and now these torpedoes will have a 3-kilometer range as well, because we're refitting them, which is good. And I believe we're also going to give her auxiliary engines and stereoscopic rangefinders, which has improved the accuracy on her main armament somewhat. So we've got just over 1,000 tons to play with. I think the next thing we're going to look at is speed and then protection, because at 19 knots she's pretty slow. So if we go to 21 knots, oh dear, that is going to be a problem. If we go to 20.5 knots. Okay, so a knot and a half of extra speed. Her guns are slightly more accurate. She's got better survivability. We haven't done anything to the armor though, but because we've upgraded to Krupp armor, all of that is better by that upgrade anyway. So I think, as far as a little refit goes, that's not too bad. So I'm happy with that. And we gave her some extra torpedoes as well. And finally, I think it is time to do a refit to keep the Fleet of Oceans up to spec, because we're not allowed to scrap the original Fleet of Oceans. So we might as well make her better. And oh dear, this is not a good beginning. The meme that is Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts shipbuilding strikes again. Okay, let's see if we can keep all of her guns. Ah, we can. It's just a case of the refit mode sometimes does this. Okay, we're fine. Now she's got improved weaponry now. We will go to the multiple expansion steam engine Mark II. We'll upgrade her to hydraulic steering. We'll give her the auxiliary engines. Can we give her a better funnel? No, we can give her induced, which will at least do something for the engine efficiency, but she isn't going to have the most efficient engines. Ah, that's gonna affect the gun traverse, isn't it? Unless... nah, I don't want to make it too cheesy. Alright, so she'll have to have the one funnel. So she's sacrificing engine efficiency for pure DACA. And we're going to go with a double hull, Crip 1, Barbette 3, anti-flood, reinforced bulkheads, Citadel still as is. Can we get away with 20.5 knots? No, that's going to put her overweight. Can we go with 20 knots? Yes. She still has bugger all range, but that's fine. We're also going to give her a stereoscopic rangefinder, and her accuracy is improving once more. And oh, her fore and aft belt is not particularly strong, so we'll go up to 4 inches fore and aft. The 12-inch main belt is honestly not too bad for something of her class and age. And I'm just wondering if we increase the barrel length, how much of an increase in accuracy that's going to give us, particularly around the medium ranges, around 7,500 meters to 1,000. So that's 3.5 and 1.5% respectively. So if we crank up the barrel length, yeah, that does a modest improvement to accuracy. So I think we'll make that modification part of the design change. Now, she doesn't have any torpedo launch, does she? She does. She has 2 amidships torpedoes. I don't think we're going to worry about fore and aft torpedoes because we're not going to be putting her into extreme close range, unlike some of the older pre-dreadnoughts. We'll switch to TNT, which gets us a little bit more extra weight as well. Oh, I wonder if we can... Oh, we already have enhanced reloading. In that case, we're going to up the deck armor, seeing as we have some tonnage to spare. So we've gone up to 2.5 inch on the main deck and 1.5 inch on the fore and aft. We've improved the weaponry. The torpedo range has been increased by default of just us refitting the ship. She's got better engines, better armor because we've upgraded to Krupp, and she's slightly faster at 20 knots, so I think that's a nice little refit for Fleet of Oceans. Now, I'm not going to send Fleet of Oceans back for a refit until the Cristobal Colon heavy cruisers are completed at Cadiz, so that we can combine them with the new Dreadnought fleet and send them out to relieve the Fleet of Oceans class so that we can get them back for a refit. But that is something we will be looking at next time. It is January 1907. I think that is a good time to call it a break for today. And we will be back for my final years as the first T-Lord at the beginning of this campaign. I will, of course, be taking over again in 1930. But what will the Spanish Navy look like in 1930? What will the world look like in 1930? Will the Americans still be fielding pre-dreadnoughts in 1930? Possibly, who knows? But that's not a question for today. That is a question for some distant person who is hopefully still me and who fully understands the concept that 1930s torpedoes were a very different ballgame to those of the 1900s. But that's a future me problem. Until then, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will catch you in the next episode of UAD. Ta-ta!